Hello everyone, welcome to 12 weeks of home ownership. I am super excited that I have my girl Karimah here today from Goosehead Home Insurance to talk to you all today about home insurance, the difference between home warranties and all those basic things. So Karimah, thank you so much for coming today, being in the studio with us. So tell us, let's just jump right into it. What is the difference between a home warranty and a home insurance policy, and why do I have to have an insurance policy with a home? Tell me about it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me, Tamara.
Of course.
But hopefully when I give you the definition of both, people understand the importance of having both.
Right.
So your home insurance is required by your lender. It is protecting your assets. If anything happens to the home, you want to make sure that you have that policy there for you, so that you have protection over those things in your home and the home itself. As a homeowner, that's one of the biggest things now. You can't call your landlord, right, to fix something for you. You are liable for every nook and cranny, and therefore you want a document that is going to protect you of that. Now, one thing about insurance I always say is insurance is that document that you have because you need it, right? But you put it in a drawer, you hope it collects dust. You hope you never have to use it.
Right.
It is there for catastrophic loss if some crazy stuff happens. Whereas your home warranty, that is something that you may grab for throughout the year, because as your home grows with you, appliances are going to get old in the home, and so your water heater may need to be replaced. Your certain appliances may need to be replaced, and so your home warranty is what you grab for in those instances. Now, a lot of people totally, if it's not included, for free sometimes in that kind of closing agreement, a lot of people pass on the home warranty, but it truly helps you budget for the year, because it's accounting for things that are naturally going to happen.
Right.
And you already have a bucket of money waiting there for you, so you don't have to come $10,000 out of pocket if your water heater breaks in real time, which can literally happen. And now you have to come up with $7,000 to $10,000 out of your own money. Why not have a home warranty that you potentially pay even less than your home insurance policy for, where you have that to go to. Another big reason why I say go with a home warranty as well, is because it does not take into account how many claims you put in. Anything with insurance, every time it's time to renew, they take into account how many claims you make, versus your home warranty. You just pay that service fee and you're good to go. You just renew your policy every year, and they're not going to look at, okay, how many times did she actually use it?
Right.
So that's what I would say about a home insurance and home warranties.
Yeah, I personally have both, of course, but I had to use my home insurance this year for a new roof. That's not covered by the home warranty, but I needed a new roof, and that's where home insurance kicked in. So I know a lot of people were, home insurance, like you said, is mandated by the lender. They're not going to give you money for something that you won't insure. It's kind of like a vehicle, right? You cannot drive a vehicle off the lot without a certain amount of insurance for that vehicle. Even if it's paid for, you need at least liability insurance. So you need insurance. So how does your service work? I know that people can call who they have their car with, who they may already be familiar with, but some people have never heard of Goosehead Insurance, right? So how does your company work, and what are some of the advantages of going with you or calling you?
Yeah, so there's so many different ways you can shop for insurance. So typically people may do like what we call a direct company. So that would be like Geico or Farmers, where you go directly to them. And then a lot of people are used to using what we call a captive agent.
Okay.
So that is an agent who just sells that one style of insurance, they work with one insurance company.
Okay.
So that would be like a State Farm agent,
okay.
Where they just sell that one product. But now it's getting a lot more popular. Insurance companies are seeing the value of really putting the choice in the hands of the customer. So you can go to an independent agent. I'm an independent agent.
Okay.
Or you may hear it as insurance broker. But essentially, my company, Goosehead Insurance, very silly name, but we're actually the biggest insurance broker in the country. So we work with around 45 insurance companies. So a lot that you're familiar with, like Travelers, Progressive, Allstate. But all that really means for you is I'm able to truly shop the market completely, so you don't have to call all these different insurance companies trying to get quotes. And then on top of that, figure out, okay, which one's going to be the best for the new home closing. I essentially am able to do all of that for you. And it really just puts you in a good spot, because I always tell my clients, like, I'm not trying to swindle you. I don't work for one company. I am trying to ensure that we search everything properly, so we put your business in the best spot that it needs to be.
Yeah, and I never even knew that you can have an insurance broker that really shops around for you.
Yeah.
So that's great to hear that you're able to give the consumer a choice, because a lot of times when you just call your one person that you're used to, you're only given one number. You're not really given a lot of options to choose from.
Yeah, to your point too, like, it's just, like, why have loyalty? I meet so many clients, sometimes they're like, I've been with, XYZ company for 15 years. And it's like, that's great. But like, if anything, what I've learned now that I'm being in this insurance business is you shouldn't be loyal to these companies. You should be reshopping your insurance portfolio at least every 3 to 5 years. I would say even sometimes maybe every 2 years. Once a year may be excessive unless you have some big changes going on, but you should be reshopping, because a lot of people turn around and they are saving $2,500 a year because we switched them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And a lot of one thing to note now, being in this space of having all these companies, is there's a lot of great companies out here, but most insurance companies don't spend money on marketing. So that's why you may only hear a couple names.
Right.
That's because they spend $5 billion on marketing every year. But there's a lot of companies that provide the same service and the same quality of products as those big companies, but you just have to come to a broker.
Yeah, we've just never heard of them before.
Exactly.
So they don't have an ad on during the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what is the average cost of homeowners insurance? How do you all determine how much it's going to be?
Yeah, so it's a tricky question, but I still like to answer this question, because at the end of the day, people want to gauge, right? So what I will say is, right now, just like everything, the markets, things are crazy. Insurance rates are increasing as well, just accounting for all the changes going on. I would say the cheapest right now in this area would probably be PG County, Charles County. You'll probably see it starting around $800. It can go up to maybe $1,600 to $1,800. The next place would definitely be Baltimore County, or maybe the DC area. It's not too bad in the middle, so maybe starting at $1,000 and going to that same range. But Baltimore City is definitely the most expensive right now, probably starting around $1,200, and it can even go over $2,000 to $2,200. So that's what I would say pricing wise. But
does it depend on the size of your home?
Yes.
For insurance
Yes.
if I have a row home or a condo, it's going to be less expensive than someone who has a single family home, I'm assuming.
Exactly. So that range from that range, will definitely be dependent on square footage and market price and features and stuff like that. So you're exactly right. But yeah, that's what you're kind of looking at as far as pricing. And I know that seems expensive, especially when you're trying to account for it.
It's less than car insurance.
I know, but I know for some people, especially first-time home buyers, work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and they, are just trying to make sure that they're putting themselves in order for success. But this is one thing that, like, it's annoying that you had to have, but you need to have it, and so you should make sure that you're not trying to cut costs over excessively, and you really are taking it seriously and providing enough cushion for you to get a good policy, essentially.
Does home insurance look at the appraisal by any chance? Do they look and see?
Yeah, sometimes we do. Sometimes my lenders send me the appraisal. I like looking at the appraisal because when I'm talking to my clients, I'm asking, okay, do you know of any renovations that's happened in the past 10 to 20 years to like roof, water heater? I'm asking those specific questions just so we can make sure that we have the most structured policy that we can, and the most accurate, I should say. So I don't need it, but I love when like one of my lenders typically my realtors, I feel like send me the appraisal. So I love when I have it. I always take advantage of it and just look at everything to double check.
So in order for me to acquire homeowner's insurance that is required for me to purchase the home, does the house have to be in a certain type of condition? If I'm doing a renovation loan, do I have a different type of insurance? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm gonna do a complete tear down and build back up, is there a different type of insurance? So are there different types of insurance policies, or it's just kind of like one size fit all type thing?
Okay, so when you're talking about different property types, it is super important because you do want to account for those details. I always tell my clients on inspection day, along with your realtor, you should be just as attentive of those details, because when it comes to the insurance side, there are certain characteristics that may not be in the appetite for insurance companies. So for instance, say you're closing on the home, you love the home, but it is literally has a 50-year-old roof. That's great, but there's a lot of insurance companies that won't take that, a lot of big ones at that. And so to my point, that's why it's good to go to a broker, because I can shop all your options, right? But that's why it is important to be just as attentive of those things. So you are looking at, okay, is this even insurable? Will a company like, I love this house, but the roof, like, is that even, can this be insurable? Can I protect my assets in this space? And so you should always be thinking about that. Now, when it comes to renovations, you are totally right. It is a different, it can be a different policy. So if you are going to be living in the home and you're doing some small things like, changing around some cabinets and stuff like that, most insurance companies have an appetite for that with a standard homeowner's policy. However, if you're doing a renovation loan and you're not going to be living in the home, I literally just had a client who doing a renovation loan, they're not moving in until 4 months after the closing date, since those renovations are going to be happening. That is a different policy. We call that a builder's risk policy. They are typically more expensive. They are more expensive. They are typically around like 30 to 40% more expensive than your standard homeowner's policy. Put it this way, I would say like a year's policy of home insurance is probably like a 6-month policy for a builder's risk. Reason being is because nobody's going to be living on the property, it is seen in, like, I guess, the insurance world as a bigger risk. And so those policies are more expensive. And my rule of thumb is if you are going to be in a space where you're going to be doing that, you have to go with the builder's risk policy first. As soon as those renovations are done, we can switch it to a standard homeowner's policy, because what will happen is, I literally just had a client have to explain to the lender what will happen is if something happens during that time that you're doing those renovations, you're not living in the home, which can very well happen, theft of supplies, fire, anything like that, and you have a standard homeowner's policy, it is not going to cover it. And I just don't want you to be in a space where you have to account for all of that, because that can be super expensive, especially when it comes to renovations. Just debris removal itself can be more expensive than the project itself. So it's just like, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. So I always just try to explain that to my clients, but that would be my answer to that. Builder's risk, and then we always switch it to your standard homeowners once it's done, or once you're living in the home. That's when we can switch it. Okay.
And last question, how can going through a broker, right? Sometimes if you go directly through who you're used to, you get discounts, right? Your little multi-policy discounts. So do those discounts still apply if I go through a broker? Am I able to still get multi-policy discounts and discounts since I haven't had an accident in 10 years and all those other things if I combine my insurance policies?
Yeah, so my company, we do home insurance, and we're lender and realtor focused, but we also do car insurance. We do investment properties, we do commercial, we do everything. So we definitely, anytime I'm doing discovery with my clients, I'm getting all the questions, I'm asking for their auto information so I can shop them for both. So I can ensure that I can see if bundling is the best option. But the cool thing about going to a broker too is sometimes bundling isn't the best option, and like the best option is to put your home insurance somewhere else and your car insurance somewhere else. So I can literally give you that transparency to be like, okay, let's bundle, this is the best deal, or actually home insurance here, car insurance here.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Yes.
All right, sweet, easy. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope you took some notes. Hit up Karimah. Her contact information will be below this video so that you all can have access to it as well. And you can ask her any questions and, let her broker all your insurances to see what's best for you. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.
See ya.